Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be answering a question. And that question is Ableton Live hard to learn? And it's been a little while since I made one of these talky videos where I just talk to the camera. And I enjoy doing them. Some people enjoy watching them, so that's why I kind of do them. And I want to answer this question, and this question is multifaceted. It dovetails into a lot of things, and there's some things to kind of keep in mind while questioning it, asking the question. And it's like you might be coming from the idea of searching for what is the easiest program for making music, what's the easiest one to learn, and that's completely valid, but you might be thinking it in wrong terms. It's like thinking that a trumpet is easier to learn than a clarinet because the trumpet only has 3 keys. It's a completely different beast altogether, and the learning curve of most DAWs are the same, but I think Ableton is one of those programs that it makes sense to me, and the workflow is great and it's very flexible. But is it hard to learn? So we need to define what is learn. Like, how do you learn something? What is, like, I learned Ableton. What is the crossover point where you're just like, I have this learned? And I think that's an important question to answer. Everything that we do, that we pursue to learn, is based off of past experiences and theories. And let me explain. So you're a little kid, and you're 3 years old, and someone passes you a piece of plastic that you hold in your hands with a bunch of buttons on it, and you're like, okay, and they say, hey, look at the TV. You control this thing with the thing in your hand on the TV, and that's Mario. And you're just like, what do I do? And there's, well, in my case it was the NES, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons with a bunch of different combinations, and you're like, what's going on? And eventually you discover that if you press right, you go right, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. And if you hold the button, you run, and if you press another button, you jump. And you slowly develop a theory about movement, speed, jumping, and timing, and these things just become more and more like readily apparent. And every new game that you pick up, you can pick up Mega Man the next day if you're coming from Mario, and you have the same theory. And yeah, controlling a thing on a screen is a theory that is easily built upon. So, learning Ableton Live. You already know the basic theory of it. I imagine that you've listened to a song or two in your life. You have a theory of what is a kick drum, what is a snare, what is a hi-hat, what is that weird synthy sound. You have this rough theory of all of these ideas in your head. You don't know how to apply them, which is fine. That's part of the process. And spoiler alert, it takes years to figure all that out in a proficient way. Well, to become, I guess, technically proficient. So you've listened to a song in your life, you have the basic idea. You've probably played a song, so you know the idea of what play and pause and stop are. Maybe the newer generation doesn't know what rewind is, or fast forward. Like the seek motion. Seeking was a new thing because you couldn't seek on a cassette tape. You could do it on a CD. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. You have the basic theory already. So what you do is you open Ableton Live and you're just like, what is all this? And that is a completely valid question. But then what I recommend people do is just take an MP3 or a WAV file or something, anything at all, and put it in the timeline. Put it into the arrangement view, I should say. Hit tab, get the arrangement view, and then drop it in an empty track. And then press play, and then press pause. And then already there, that's like discovering that you're moving left or right in Super Mario Brothers on the NES. You figured it out. Okay, spacebar, play, you could pause, you can find the seek bar anywhere and play from any point in the track, And even beyond the track, you can move the track around, you can select the top, you can zoom in and out. You're learning Ableton Live. And when I started out, I was so frustrated that I couldn't make what I had in my vision. I couldn't execute my vision, and it took me a while to learn that that comes later. When you open up a 3D program, you don't make freaking Toy Story right away. You put a little ball in there, and then you make it bounce, or you change it into a color. Another example is programming. Every programmer in the world, the first thing that they do is make Hello World appear on the screen. They don't make huge data collection analytic systems with, you know, infinite tables of data and crazy stuff. They start with getting text on the screen, and then they get that text to blink, and then they change the color of that text, and then they say, hey, I want every character in that to Hello World to be a different color. I want it to flash. Okay, what now? I want it to play music. You build upon the things that you figure out, and that's what you do with Ableton. Okay, so you have a track in your arrangement view that you like to listen to. Drop a filter on it. Put a reverb on it, put a delay on it, chorus, drag the effects on it and see what happened. Okay, so you have a general theory of what audio is in Ableton. What about MIDI? Okay, well you drop in a MIDI track and then it's like, okay, what's going on? You select a section, you right click, you create MIDI, and then you drop in operator or whatever and you go through your sounds, and then you hit your keyboard or what have you and you make sounds. Okay, drum rack. And all these things are built upon things that you've learned. So you got audio and then MIDI and then time. That's basically what every DAW is just making things change over time. And it's from there you can apply more things, apply what you've learned, drop in presets, drop in samples, and the race is off. And how long does it take to learn Ableton? Not that long, actually. To become technically proficient at everything takes years, takes a long time. But, you know, you want to be inspired and you want to not get discouraged just because you can't create the thing that you want. When you're doing the Hello World command in programming, you do that because it's kind of fun and it's inspiring. You're like, oh my god, I made something appear on the screen. It's crazy with like code. You know, you're not getting discouraged, and you have to learn to have fun while creating music when you're beginning. You know, it's all about having fun. If you're not having fun, it's just a technical pursuit, and you're like, why am I doing this? So, I hope that answers the question. Yeah, do I have anything else to say? I don't think I do. I think that I'll end with saying, if I can learn how to do it, I think anyone can, because I'm not that bright and I'm not that technical. But, you know, I'm the guy that kind of makes videos on how to use Ableton. So if I can do it, anyone can, and that's what I tell people. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to learn anything, really. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned stuff. Take care and have a good one.